Hello, everyone, and welcome to ZinoNation episode 4. Tonight, I'm joined by my regular co-host, Marcus Crawford, coming from the great state of Idaho. And our special guest tonight is Bill Thomas from Coast to Coast Jones, joining us from Seattle, Washington. Thanks, everybody, for joining us in the room tonight. We're going to have a lot to talk about tonight in the show notes. I'll run down just the highlights, and then I'm going to throw it to Marcus. We're going to talk about the new Black Zino. We're going to talk about the Anafi. Got some software updates last week. The Fimi A3 has been seen for under $250. That's just some of the highlights. But right now, I want to throw it to Marcus, who just returned from assignment for ZinoNation. He took the Spark and he flew it in Tempe, Arizona. So I want to find out all about what it's like to fly a DJI Spark or just a drone in general in Arizona. Take it away, Marcus.
Hey, so there's a couple of interesting things to talk about. So the reason I was going down there was my nephew is graduating from high school, my brother's son. But, you know, of course, you always want to take your drone with you when you travel. And, of course, I looked into Arizona's drone laws before I left, and they're really cool. So Arizona says that no city can pass any drone regulations. In other words, the state rules are what they go by. Not the city can't say you can't fly a drone, I guess is what I'm trying to say, which is cool. And then also, if it's a city, this is in state law, if it's a city that has more than one city park, they have to dedicate a park to drone flight. How's that for a good state law?
I'm moving to Arizona.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty cool. But anyway, so where I was at, I was right on the outskirts of the traffic pattern for Sky Harbor, but just like right on the edge of it. So I had room to fly over my brother's house, and there's a little man-made community lake right next to it. And what the other thing that it proved to me is I took the Spark, and what a phenomenal, easy to fly product that Spark is. It's just so cool how quick you can throw it in the air and get some good video with it. But the other thing I want to say is, I got up at 3:30 this morning to fly home, and my brother is he's a middle school teacher. Teaches at Kyrene Middle School in Tempe, Arizona. And he presented that video to his students that I took while at his house. And a number of his students subscribed to my channel. So I want to thank the students in Mr. Crawford's class at Kyrene Middle School.
Does your brother fly at all, Marcus?
He doesn't, but he was fascinated by it, and he got a big kick out of it. And anybody that watched the video saw he had his dog there, and the dog was loving that drone pretty much too.
I saw the dog in the video.
Yeah. We had to hold the dog back.
Now, Marcus, were you flying the Spark 1 or the Spark 2 out there?
Well, I did the Spark 2. I'd love to.
He's under NDA. He can't speak.
Right? You can't say anything. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Ron, you can ask me that question.
There you go. So Bill Thomas, why don't you take it away?
Oh no, I was just making a joke about it.
No, Bill. Now back to you, Bill. What's new with you? What's been up lately?
Just normal craziness and hanging out with you guys and talking about drones every day and wishing all of us could get along and have a good old time. And I see a bunch of people in the chat that we all know. We can see Chris the QC guy, Floyd Mutz, Chris Hope, Gorilla Man, FSU Grad 03, Cigar Nation Warriors. That's a good idea Cigar Nation Warriors has about getting some decals, some skins made for the Zino. That would be really cool to see her wrapped up good. Let's see who else did that. Anybody? Oh, Dennis Nipfer. I hope I'm saying that right. Senator Perry was talking about, oh, yes, they brought up a question earlier about what are your all's thoughts on the new tariffs? Are they going to affect drones? We had a later response from Senator Perry that said the tariffs were already on the drones. So, what do y'all think?
Well, I had the same thought too. I joked with my wife today. It's a good thing I just got a drone recently to avoid the tariff hikes, but realistically, I have no idea how it's going to affect the price of drones coming to the U.S. I have no clue.
Oh,
Mark,
BC and the FK, Bob, Cindy, and the foster kids. I forgot. I saw that name earlier, but I didn't throw your all's name out there. I wanted to make sure I said that. And I did not get to see the new video about the Zino versus the Mavic 2 Pro. But if no offense, then if they're trying to say that the camera on the Zino put up a fight with the Mavic 2 Pro, it was a very biased and something wasn't right. I'm sure the Zino did well. I really do, but I don't think it kicked the Mavic 2.
I haven't seen that video yet either.
I actually did one of those with the Zoom. You might remember where I did the one and the two, and virtually everybody guessed which drone was which. Of course, I mean it was pretty easy, but it was just a fun video to make.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure because I had not seen the video myself either.
This was months ago that I did that. So.
Okay, so where do y'all want to roll to now? We going to the black Zino? We going to the blue Zino?
Listen,
go ahead, Marcus.
Well, I wanted to speak to that tariff question because when that Fimi X8 got shipped to me, it came from Thailand. So it makes me think that they're probably doing workarounds to get around the tariffs. It shipped direct to me from Thailand, and I didn't think about it at the time, but I'll bet you that has something to do with those tariffs.
Now, how are our trade relations with Thailand? Much better?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
What week are we talking about?
maybe we need to get a tariff expert on the show.
Depends on what their leader says on Twitter this week.
Who is their leader, Bill?
I don't know, man. I was just saying.
Okay.
You never know how stuff changes weekly here. It used to be it would take months for stuff to change, man. And the whole opinion of stuff changes like the wind blows. So I never know. I just try to keep up. I'm riding the wave. I just want to keep flying my drone, man, and I don't think about these things.
All right, let's get the show back on the rails again and stop this week in tariffs and whatever. So, Bill Thomas, have you seen the new Black Zino yet?
I saw a couple of people who had posted links and mentioned that it was on for sale on some page for ridiculous. And I made the comment that I guess that black plastic's at a premium right now. So
there's a tariff on black plastic.
Yeah, there's a tariff on black plastic, man. Wait, it depends on where it's extruded. That's what it is.
Okay.
If it's extruded in China, then it's triple the tariff, man. So
well, the interesting thing about that is that it is not showing up on Hubsan's own webpage.
I got a theory of that.
Okay.
Oh, anybody ever seen a Drocon Blue Bugs 3?
Yes.
Oh, so I think Hubsan has figured out, hey, we got a good brand. Why don't we start rebranding stuff? So, and the first one out there is going to be who's got the black Hubsan?
Like it's one of the smaller stores, like Geek Buying or something like that.
Right. So they've paid Hubsan probably for a limited press, and it's the only place you're going to be able to get that black one. That's why you're going to pay so much money for it.
That is good.
I'm thinking, remember how and MJX is huge now because of rebranding, and they don't really have to anymore.
Right.
But they started getting big when they remember they went out to Drocon and they rebranded a lot of stuff through Drocon and one or two other places, and that's where they made all their money. So right. I'm thinking Hubsan has figured out how are we going to stay in the game, and then they're like, and Geek Buying came in and said, hey, we'll pay you so much for 2,000 units, and they're like, all right. So, and that's because they probably charged them just a penny or two more. Well, not a penny or two more, but maybe $10 more because it's not going to cost that much for the plastic. And then that's why they're giving that huge markup, because you're not going to get it anywhere else.
I can safely say that none of the three of us are going to be buying one at that price.
No, no.
Let me talk to the chat room. Chat room. Would anybody out there be interested in the black Zino? I guess if the price is more reasonable. Marcus, do you like the look of the black Zino? Or are you impressed with the look?
Oh, I think it looks pretty cool. Yeah, there's no doubt about it. But I kind of got excited when I saw it, because I thought, okay, did they throw an optical flow sensor on there or something? I looked all through those specs, and it was on that Alibaba whatever. AliExpress, yeah. But I looked through the specs and I didn't see anything different. So
everybody's basically saying, "No, I can paint it myself."
There you go. That's true.
Yeah, exactly, man. Hey, Cigar Nation Warriors, do you know Jeff Seals? He does the news with Ken Herron. If you got a crashed Zino that's not flying, I'm sure he'd love you to send it to him so he could gut it and find out what's going on, see if he couldn't get it back in the air. I know he loves to do that kind of stuff.
Hey, before we move on to the next story, were you guys aware that there was a Zino? It was on Hubsan's website briefly, but some people took screenshots. They had a 1080p Zino around the time, late last year, and it appeared on the website briefly. It was just like the Zino we had, but it only had a 1080p camera in it. I don't know anybody actually has one, but people have screenshots. It was on their website for a brief period.
But okay, was it a photoshopped email or what?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen it. I've seen this happen. I've seen this posted more than once, and maybe it's the same person posting it all around. But do some research, guys.
Well, have you seen? Bill's been talking about that particular person has been appearing on some other of our friends' pages, but apparently they don't realize we're friends.
I have seen that.
Yeah,
I've seen that.
Hey, so to your point, there was some controversy early on with the Zino. There were two different styles of camera on the front. Some of them had a round lens, and others had the squarish lens. The newer ones have the kind of squarish lens, and people were freaking out, thinking one was better than the other. And Hubsan had to come out and say, no, it's the same camera. It was just a different style of whatever plastic that they built for the camera.
I think friend of the show, Chris, the QC guy, said the cameras are interchangeable too on the, on that. Speaking of, I'm glad we brought Chris, the QC guy, up. He posted a video just this week or this weekend where Hubsan has now provided an official, I'm going to say, file on their website where you can download it. And you can unbrick your controller if you bricked your controller trying to do the update to it with the jumper. So you can unbrick it, and then you can try to apply the update again to. I know Bill's laughing here, but at least Hubsan offered a way out of.
I'm just thinking about those tinfoil jumpers everybody made.
And Crystal did
put that on too.
Jumper.
Well, no, if it flies great, I have no doubt about it. I've just never flown a Zino. I've never had a Zino, which is cool. And it's kind of neat that the black one came out because it does. It looks sharp. I'm trying to figure out why they didn't come out with it black to begin with.
Yeah. Hey, well, Bill, they're shipping them now with a jumper in the box. If you buy, there was a guy that, now listen, that was just something I saw somebody post, but they were opening up their new Zino, and it had one of those jumpers in it, so that if you had to upgrade. But the other thing that I think is remarkable is that you can buy that Zino now. There's no reason to pay more than $250. They're on eBay now. You can make offer and get it for $250. I've seen them selling for as low as $225 brand new. That's
Depends on what happens if you melt that plastic down.
Yeah.
Yeah. What they sending from over there in one of them Asian countries.
Hey, I saw Bill. I saw a deal this weekend where you could get a Zino with 3 batteries in a case for $339. Kind of a Flymore package.
You didn't text me. You want to wait? You were just doing that. You can check right now, see if I'm gonna hit that button live on air, like Marcus does all the time. That's what we need to. That's what we need to do. We need to. We'll start a show and we'll have them on, and it'll be kind of like let's make a deal, but it's gonna be let's make a drone deal. And so me, you, Marcus, and maybe one other person, we're just gonna keep hunting drone deals
and see who gets
finally buy one on air.
Yeah.
What's just one of those big staples, buttons or whatever is the buy button. About the big staples button. Now it'll be like the buy button.
Or we can have drone deal or no deal. All right, where do you want to go next, Ron? I'm sorry.
Okay. Well, we're moving off the Zino. We're going to move to the Anafi. Marcus and I both have Anafi. We know Bill Thomas is Anafi curious. In fact, I believe he quoted sometime last weekend, if DJI didn't release anything by August, that he would be purchasing an Anafi.
We need to make a t-shirt of that, Ron. Are you Anafi curious?
Hey, well, so now the QC guy, he just posted, he's sending his Anafi back. The legs are starting to come apart on it. Well, that's a whole nother deal about being Anafi curious. But the feet on the were coming apart. So he's returning it to he bought it the same place you and I did, Ron.
But he got it for $100 cheaper because they made a mistake in the price.
Yeah.
Mistake in the price on your first Anafi, Marcus.
Yeah, well, yeah, except for they actually shipped his because it was Amazon instead of Google. But there, it's interesting that evidently that is an issue with the Anafi, that those legs on the front are
and you're
come apart.
And you're aware that there's antennas in all those legs too.
Yeah.
I haven't examined my legs yet since that Chris posted. Have you?
No.
But anyhow, we're burying the lead here. The Anafi received a firmware update last week for the drone and the controller. And I've flown mine since then, and I didn't really notice much. I'll give you the kind of go over the release notes real fast. It said it fixed an issue where the GPS lapse progress bar would not behave as expected. And if anybody doesn't have a Anafi, it doesn't really tell you how many GPS satellites it has. It just gives you kind of like a cell phone thing with dots or whatever. But if you click into it, a couple screens, you can see the number of satellites, and they're unusually high. I've flown the Anafi, like places most drones only get like 15 or 60. I've looked at the Anafi, it has 23, 25 satellites. But have you noticed that, Marcus?
I haven't looked to that close in it, but that would explain. It's sure a stable product compared to a lot of other drones.
Okay, and also it says another update was once the Anafi is restarted, it will now boot into the photo mode last used instead of going back to the default mode. So, in other words, if you were taking pictures when you ended a session and then you restarted again, it would still be in picture mode. It wouldn't default back to, say, movie mode.
Huh, interesting.
And finally, it fixed an issue where the format of the panorama and burst shots could be inconsistent between the application and the Anafi. I haven't even tried the panoramic mode yet or the burst mode.
Nor have I.
Yeah. But that's all the latest. Then there's show notes for the last one too. But that's the notes for the most recent update. Does anybody in the chat have the Anafi? You have any questions about these updates? Or
I know Gorilla Man does, and he's done he has done some really good testing. So it's worth checking out his channel. He really gets into a lot of testing, and he's done a lot with the Anafi. I can talk a little bit about my last flight if you want, Ron.
We want to hear this kind of a tale of woe here, I believe.
Yeah. So the day before I left to go down to Arizona for the weekend, I took the Anafi out to Lucky Peak Reservoir, and just had a couple of issues. I've got a 64 gigabyte SanDisk Extreme card, and I thought I did all the correct formatting With the Anafi, it's got to be in FAT32. So obviously then you would have to partition a 64 gigabyte card. The drone will actually do that for you. If you do the advanced formatting, it will actually partition it and do that for you. But while it would boot up and it would look like it was going to fly okay, then it would disconnect almost immediately with that card. Fortunately, I always carry that 16 gigabyte card that it comes with it, so I just slipped that in there and took off. But the other issue that I had some issues with trying to do a hand landing, and I've got the scars to prove it. But I think that was really more my fault than anything else. I was trying to do a palm landing with the drone facing me, the camera facing me, rather than away. And I looked afterwards, did the instructions, and they really want you to have the camera facing away. So I'm going to call that my fault. But the other thing that happened was my iPhone slipped out of that clamp on there, and I didn't have a case on it. Just had the iPhone in there, and you know, Murphy's Law, where I was at, it was all dirt where that phone could have fallen and it wouldn't have hurt a thing, but it hit the one little piece of concrete that was sitting there and shattered the screen. So, you know, $300 later, a new screen on your iPhone. But in any case, I came away with that a little frustrated with the Anafi. Subsequent to that, today when I got home, I worked on that SD card thing again, and I looked at some videos that other people had done, and I used a 32 gigabyte card this time so that it wouldn't have to be partitioned. And I fired it up for just a few minutes, and it seems to be fine. So, and I should have added, the point of all of that is so that 16 gigabyte card that it comes with, if you're shooting in 4K, at least in my case, I filled up the card before I ran out of battery. So that's why I wanted a little bit higher capacity SD card in there. So anyway, that was my experience. I've got the battery charged up. I'm going to fly it again tomorrow and see if I can be a little more successful with it.
Marcus, I want to bring up too, this is the test we need you to do for the network. I haven't shared this publicly yet. I've shared it with these guys on the panel here. I had the Anafi out last time, and I did the dolly zoom with me staying on top of a dune on the beach. And I didn't know what I was doing. I just hit the auto button. It was entirely auto. If you can do any settings, I don't know how to do it yet. And it turned out pretty good. So what I want Marcus to do is I want him to do a dolly zoom with the Anafi and then do the dolly zoom with the Mavic 2 zoom in the same location and kind of do a comparison of which one turns out better and which one is easier to do. You know, the whole gambit of ease of use and how the final result is. Do you think you're up to that assignment, Marcus?
And that's a great idea. Absolutely. Love to.
We'll call this part of the show the Marcus Crawford Challenge. And anybody in the chat that has both of these drones, maybe Gorilla Man or somebody out there, you know, you guys get the challenge too, and you send the video, and then we'll post it on ZinoNation.
Or you can call it the Double D Challenge, the Drone Dolly Challenge.
Oh, I like that.
Double D Challenge, the Drone Dolly Challenge. Anafi versus Mavic 2 Zoom.
Yeah.
Dolly Zoom is better. Tune in and find out.
But what did you think of the Anafi dolly zoom that I did without even knowing what I was doing?
I loved it. I'm very curious since you came up with that test.
The challenge.
I've not really seen anybody else do it.
Well, so there you are, Anafi curious again, Bill.
No. I'm no longer Anafi curious. Hence our segue into the next portion of the show, but we're still here.
If anybody out there can make this happen, I would love to see a couple packages arrive at Bill Thomas's studio in the next couple of weeks. Maybe a little Anafi box and a little Zino box to show up outside the door. I'd love to see that happen. If anybody listening is capable of making that happen, maybe.
How good are you listening?
I would prefer events on a larger scale to happen before that, because I don't think that's going to happen any more than certain world events. But so.
Well, it could. I had a package arrive at my door last week, and I'm bringing this up because I see the man in the room now, Brian Singleton, True Drone Reviews. I had a drone exchange show up at the door last week. This is the Parrot Mambo. This one's actually called the Swap, but he says it's just like a Mambo. It's a little drone. It's not a new drone at all. It's been out for a while. Has a little optical flow sensor on it, and it kind of hovers in place. And I had a nice day Saturday, and I got a chance to get a test flight in. So maybe after the show tonight or early tomorrow, I'll be posting my first flight and initial thoughts on the Parrot Mambo. And it flies with your phone, but he told me to pick a control up real cheap, so I have the fly pad for it too. So thank you again, Brian, for sending this. And I sent Brian a little something back in the mail too as part of the Drone Exchange program. Yeah, maybe he'll show up in his channel soon.
Something I was reading about those, the SWAT ones.
Yeah.
What was wrong was there was a firmware issue on the flight controller itself. So people were bringing them back like within a day or two. And so they had a bunch of them go back. So they just reflashed them because that's all they had to do. So in order just to not lose them, I think they're out there now like maybe as little as $50.
I think Brian said he bought like a 3 or 4 at the same time. I think he said he got one as low as $10 bidding on eBay.
Oh, see, I every now and again I'll catch like I found the little Cheerson optical flows for like $8. But I've noticed a lot of the Amazon coupon sites are kind of getting away from the toy drones because toy drones have evolved.
Right. I also want to. He probably left now, but I saw Dennis Lovelady was in here earlier. He said he had to go. Dennis was on the ZinoNation episode 1, so I want to thank Dennis for being in here with us tonight. Have a good evening. And anybody else in there we should acknowledge there, Bill?
I talked to. You said Brian. I saw Parks and Tech was in there.
Okay. Hello, Parks and Tech. He was here last.
He's like, what am I? He's curious what I'm looking at. I have like the main camera where I'm looking at beautiful Ron Brown and handsome Marcus Crawford, and then over here I can see the chat where y'all are talking. And like when Ron and Marcus get on a roll, we all kind of switch off, taking turns. We'll watch the chat and we'll talk to you all in the chat while the conversation is going on here. So yeah, I got another screen over here.
This is definitely one of those shows where there's no eye candy around, huh?
No eye. I don't know. Have we? I don't think we've ever had eye candy. My wife probably has figured out that I'm streaming, so she's not coming in the room. I have my phone. So
a couple times your wife makes a brief appearance for seconds.
Yeah, because this is the time of day because she's not used to me being on Mondays, just on Wednesdays. So that's why I was like, yeah, we can pull it off. And I don't think I'll get too many phone calls. So,
okay, before we move on to the subject that'll probably take up the rest of the show, I want Bill to talk over his idea a little bit. We talked about on drone therapy last week about because Marcus talked about the flying laws being much better in Arizona than there are in most states. Bill has an idea about using ski resorts in the off season as kind of a flying park. And I really think it has some legs to it. Bill, just briefly, you want to revisit that conversation?
Yeah, it's like I was talking about. I had mentioned it to some of our friends, like Ken Heron, Kelly from Ready, Set, Drone, Bill the Drone Reviewer, Billy Kyle, a couple other people, about in the summertime when most ski resorts are closed, especially your smaller ones that couldn't afford to put up a big fancy, off-road, whatever that they do, but they could have people come in and fly drones and basically rent the caverns and stuff. They could use the footage that the people would take while they were there to, see where they needed to do repair work on trails, see where they could potentially open new trails, see where they might need to, log out some areas to clean some stuff up, that type of thing. So it kind of works hand in hand. And for that matter, even resorts that were open during the summertime, usually most of their activities go on the lower half of the mountain, especially concert venues and stuff like that. Mountain biking, stuff like that would be on the lower portion of the mountain. So you ride people up on your chairlift, get them to the top, limit your people to the top half. You could even, make sure that they had drones that could be geofenced, and you could geofence them right there. and you would get some of the best views you could possibly ever see, because and they wouldn't be hovering over somebody's house or over somebody's property, and nobody be raising any cane, and people would really see the potential of what drones can do, and they wouldn't start freaking out so bad every time they heard one fire up. So,
Marcus, what do you think about something like that?
That's a phenomenal idea. Anything that opens up more areas for us to fly is great, obviously, and we get so much bad press with drones that it's really nice to that's a great idea. And as Bill says, it might open up people's minds a little bit.
Do you have a lot of ski resorts in Idaho, Bill? I mean, Marcus?
Yeah, of course, Idaho's full of them, and there's one that's literally 45 minutes from my house. You just go straight up from Boise. It's called Bogus Basin Ski Resort. So it's literally within 45 minutes of where I live.
You should be up with a bunch of drones and head over there and have a field day, huh?
Absolutely could. Yeah. That Idaho has some interesting drone laws in that in theory, every time I've ever flown my drone in Idaho, it's illegal, because what their laws say is that if I take a picture of you with my drone, anybody with a drone, I have to have their written permission. If I have anybody's private property within sight of my drone, not just their permission, I have to have their written permission. Well, obviously, all of us that fly drones in Idaho, that we're all then outside of that regulation. They've never enforced it. And I think that was mostly put in place because they were worried. The dairy industry is huge in Idaho, and I think they were worried about people flying drones over and, worried about them seeing them mistreat animals or something. And I think that was the genesis of that law. But to my knowledge, nobody has ever they've never done anything with it. Although it has caused some issues for commercial people that were going to do work for the networks, the television networks, and they just don't want to go there when there's that kind of law on the books. Let them do it.
Well, what Bill referred to earlier about some of the crazy drone laws in New Jersey, like down at the shore, the town I live in, Margate, they don't have any drone laws besides what the FFA has. But the next town over, Ventnor, one town closer to Atlantic City, between Memorial Day and Labor Day, you can't fly a drone any place in Ventnor. I mean, they're superseding the the FFA laws.
Didn't FAA laws? I thought that that New Jersey had a state law that said that local cities and towns could not supersede state law.
Again, all I could tell you is the town next to me at the shore. They had all last summer. Unless it's been, I'll check this summer. But last summer they had they were no drone flying at all unless you got special permission from the police department. So like if you were filming some kind of event or whatever, so probably a pro could get a waiver from the police department. But and I know what it's about because I've seen it in my town. Fools will fly like a phantom over people's heads laying on the beach.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, I know what it's about, but I mean, it even hurts people like me. I go down the beach at 7 a.m. in the morning, fly when there's nobody down there. I'm not hurting anything, and I'm not flying at 2 o'clock when everybody's out there, enjoying a day at the beach.
Yeah, sadly, the lowest common denominator is what hurts us all, and it's too bad. And I don't know what to do about that.
Bill's handling his phone there. I'll take him off the hot seat. Okay, real quick, we're going to jump into our hot topic here in the last part of the show. Did you, Marcus? Did you see that the Fimi, the A3, not the one you have, the X8, but the 1080p Fimi? I saw it on sale this weekend for $249, like this, almost the same price point as the Zino is. Now I don't know if Brian Singleton's still in here, but he has an A3 coming. So when that A3 comes, I would definitely like him to jump back on the show with us, and we could have kind of an all Fimi show with we got a couple X8 guys, Marcus, Gorilla Man, who's in here. He has a Fimi A3 that I think some other guys in here. So, but what do you think about the Fimi already going down at the under 250 price point, Marcus?
Kolsky did a great review of that. Kolsky just finished his conclusion review of that. Kolsky Drones. I urge everybody to check that out. He does a really good job. His issue with the A3 said the drone is phenomenal. The camera on the drone is good, but he said that because it operates with an FPV screen built into the controller, he said, man, you just can't see anything with it. And there's no way around that. He said that screen is just such poor resolution that he said it's just really, really difficult to fly. But that was his only complaint.
So you'd be better off with your smartphone than having that built-in screen.
That's exactly what he said. He said if there was some other kind of alternative. So I trust his reviews. He's usually spot on.
Yeah, it's very, very good. I'll try to put his link to his channel in the show notes afterwards. Try to link all our channels in there. Gorilla Man requested, I think it was Gorilla Man requested, I put the links to all the channels that people appear in the show. I did last week, but I didn't get around to this week. But I'll add them on and post, you know, and I'll throw Kolsky in there also. Now let's get into the hot topic of the week. Well, let me get a couple programming notes in. I want everybody to go to Build a Drone Reviewer show tomorrow. Road Talk Live at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
2 bookings scheduled for
8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Build a Drone network of shows. He has a great show. I don't know who if he has a guest or whatever, but we'll try to find that out. And then Wednesday, we have an exciting lineup. Everybody take notes, write all this down. DJI is going to have an announcement at 9 p.m. I guess a streamed announcement. AM, sorry. Eastern Standard Time, sorry. And we have some ideas that we're going to jump into what they're going to release, but I want to get the programming notes over. So right after, about 9:30, Marcus and I are going to go live. Are we going to go live on the ZinoNation channel, even though it's not Zino?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we'll go live on the ZinoNation channel, even though it got nothing to do with Zino. And we're gonna give our quick reactions of what they just announced, just off the top, with no research or no deep thoughts, just initial thoughts. And that'll be a short show. We'll be more than a half hour. But then don't go anyplace. Get a nice coffee or breakfast, but don't leave the house, because at 12 o'clock noon on, correct me if I'm wrong, Bill, on the Coast to Coast Drone Network, is this what's going to appear?
It's going to be on Bill's, I think.
Yeah,
okay.
Bill, I understand.
Programming crashing on. I don't know if you're going to call it Road Talk Live, but anyhow, on Bill the Drone Reviews channel, there will be a special panel of Bill Thomas, Marcus Crawford, Ron Brown, and Bill H. discussing our thoughts and impressions of the new product that DJI releases. And we're going to have a few hours to really kind of study up and get opinions by that point. So that'll be a more full feature discussion, roundtable discussion. And then, again, it's a busy day. At approximately what
8:30 on the East Coast, 5:30 on the West Coast
p.m. We're gonna go live on
Drone Therapy
hosted by Thomas.
DJI Osmo Action. What does it call it? Wait a minute, I gotta look at my I gotta see my
show notes.
This is kind of funny. Forgetfulness of old people.
Now,
Whoa.
Now, okay.
Will it take as good a video as my iPhone?
Now, Bill Thomas just let the cat out of the bag. He called it the. Go ahead.
Yes. Did Osmo Action pocket your cash?
Now,
for drone therapy Wednesday night.
Now, if anybody on this panel has an NDA and can't talk about this, I will understand, Marcus. If you're silent, I'll know that it's sitting right off camera.
Well, a good portion of my income is dedicated to DJI. No, I don't have any kind of NDA.
Okay, well, let's go right to Bill Thomas. we're laughing and joking, but what's your prediction on what we're going to see Wednesday morning at 9 a.m. on what stream live on DJI's website? Is that where we're going to find it?
We'll look into that. We'll give you a couple of updates here and there. I'm sure Bill will have a bigger update tomorrow. As a matter of fact, I may go ahead and get my butt up early and stream for a little bit before you all even get on and be on live while I'll have like the live stream over here or over here, and then I'll be streaming over here talking to people about what's going on, and then I'll segue into you guys.
Nice.
So we'll do that stream train thing we were talking about.
I'll be the first one. So what's your prediction for Wednesday morning, Bill?
Okay, but I have two predictions.
Oh.
See, I'll give the first prediction for what's coming Wednesday, but then I have another prediction what's coming by, let's say mid to the late July. First prediction, as we all know, as Ron was saying, Osmo Action is the new action camera from DJI, which is basically a clone of the GoPro Hero 7, except if y'all look at that big hulking ring around that focal point, you'll notice there's rumors that it is a manual focus ring. So that's going to be the thing that's probably going to push it over the edge. There's also something that I heard that is maybe for the first 2 months, it might be as cheap as $299. Maybe.
Wow.
So we'll have to see on that one.
Okay.
And my other prediction, as you saw Marcus come sliding by, DJ Hey Callisto's talk today. He posted a link. If you get a chance, go check it out. I'm not going to make a video and talk about it. Just go check out dronedj.com, Spark 2, and he's talking about it over there. Yeah, Spark 2 at the middle of end of July. Supposed to have what we're wanting 4K at 30, but they're saying it's actually going to have a 3-axis gimbal, about an 18-minute flight time, going to have Active Track 2.0. But still Wi-Fi, like we were talking about, the same range, everything. A redesigned controller, so the Wi-Fi signals boosted a little bit, but they still don't want us to go beyond the original range. So it's going to be a nice drone. Probably going to be starting point $450, $500
with the controller. That's the price with controller.
I'm afraid it might not be, since they put that 4K 30 in there, and we're getting 18 minutes of flight time, and they're redesigning the controller. Actually, they're redesigning the battery too, so it may not be on the bottom anymore. I don't know for sure, but from what in the article, go read his article. They're talking about that they do that they're already, so pretty much start hitting all your big drone channels. Go to Drone Valley, Rick Smith. Start hitting in the comments. Hey, Rick, tell us about that new Spark drone. If he says, I can't talk about anything, then you'll know he's under NDA. If he says, oh, well, that's a good idea or something like that, then he's not. But they're going to start getting these drones. We were figuring, okay, if we're going to figure they're going to release it mid-July, they're going to be getting those with their NDAs in the next week or two. Right about within a day or so after they start dropping their Osmo Action videos, they're going to get the Spark 2, and then they're going to start testing it. Some people probably already have it. Like Rick Smith might have it now. Like maybe Kelly's got it. Maybe Ken Heron. Maybe Ed Ricker. I don't know, but we'll see. That's my other. But that came from not me. But you all have heard me. I said it's long overdue, and everything that I had heard had pointed towards that. So,
Marcus, you have any predictions for Wednesday morning?
Well, I think, with all the leaks, it's pretty obvious, right? I mean, there's been enough credible leaks now that we know it's going to be an action camera. The question is it going to bring anything more to the table than the Hero 7, other than, like Bill said, maybe a manual focus? That wouldn't compel me to buy one. I can say that, having already, with already having a GoPro 7. So but they clearly they want to get in that business. But the other prediction about the little Spark, I really have grown to appreciate this product since I bought it a month or two ago. I took it to Arizona with me. This thing is so convenient to throw up in the air. There's never any connection issues. It just flies. It just does everything that it's supposed to do every time you throw it in the air. And you literally, just like the Anafi, you can throw it in the air. You hit the button twice, it takes off. If they add those features that Bill Thomas just told us about, man, I'll buy one. Yeah, I mean, I
You
can buy one.
Here, Marcus.
You really want to find out what that little bird will do? Send it up in the air and just take some pictures with it. Don't shoot just videos. Shoot some pictures, some 4K pictures, and you'll find out just what that little camera can do.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, you'll fall in love with it in a whole new way.
Marcus, have you tried the trick I told you to turn off obstacle avoidance to start to fly faster?
I have, and that's the way you should fly it. No question about it. Unless you're if you were flying it through trees or something like that, of course you would want obstacle avoidance on. But most of the time, right, you're up in the air where there's nothing. So yeah, you turn that obstacle avoidance on. It has a decent speed and will get where you need it to go. The one thing I've never done yet is try it in sport mode. So I'm going to have to do that one of these days.
It flies. Marcus, you said about flying up high. The only people that don't fly drones up high are Zino reviewers that love to fly at about 4 foot off the ground near objects and trees. They're the only people that like low flying drones.
Yeah, or crash it right into the ground.
Yeah. We're not mentioning any names here.
No names here.
Yeah.
But the Zino took right off after that. I will say, it went right back in the air.
Marcus, I'm referring to a video that we both commented on in the last day or so. European gentleman, I believe. I
was thinking of something else, but go ahead.
Okay. Well, yeah. We'll talk off air. But my impressions was of course, I'm on the Osmo Action bandwagon also. I don't have any sources. I don't have any inside information, just what I read and based on my instinct. And I'll be curious. I mean, I thought it needed some kind of they couldn't just make a Hero 7 clone. They had to do something. And I guess the manual focus ring is good. I mean, tell you the truth, I'm kind of a amateur photographer, and I have, an Olympus OMD EM1 Mach 2 or whatever, and I have the manual focus on that. And I'll tell you the truth, on a rare occasion, when the autofocus on this camera is incredible, it's a rare occasion that I actually have to, go over the manual focus. I'm old school. From when I first started, it was all manual focus. I didn't have a zoom, but zoom is so good now, or automatic focus is so good now that it's a rare occasion where I feel the need to manual focus anything. So again, that would be of interest to, we said maybe the top 20, percent of the people that may buy it, but it's certainly not a killer feature. But if it was went for $299 and it was as good as the Hero 7, that would be the feature that I think could be the killer feature. Now, Marcus, we discussed a little bit before we got in the air. I'm not asking which one is the best, but you have the Osmo Pocket and the Hero 7. All correct, right? You have both cameras.
Yes.
Now, I'm not going to ask you which one is the best because they're different cameras. I mean, they're not even like we talked earlier. It's like comparing your Corvette to your SUV. They're different automobiles. But which one do you tend to be your daily driver? Which one do you get the most use out of between those two cameras?
Well, I tend to use the Hero 7 more simply because it's more versatile. It has the stability, and then the wide angle lens, and then the fact that, quite frankly, that you don't have to focus it, and it's got pretty good sound. I tend to use that more often now. I really like the Pocket. But I think where I end up using the Pocket more is doing motion time lapse and things like that. But to be fair, I probably haven't educated myself enough on the Pocket to really have given it a fair shake too. And but there again, the Hero 7 is just so easy to use. A dummy like me just picks it up and pushes the button.
Good thoughts. I want to say goodnight to Lynn. Lynn has to go. We got of course Cigar Nation Warriors. He made a comment. He said he would buy the Spark 2 instead of the Anafi. He wouldn't have to sleep on Ron's couch. Oh, Bill, the drone reviewer, is in the house with us. Hello, Bill. Thanks for joining us. We also have Birdman 316 RC in the house. Hello, Mike. Good to see you in here. So that's some of the most recent people have come in. Anybody in the chat room have any thoughts on the Osmo? Osmo, what we call it again? Osmo Sport.
Osmo Action.
Osmo Action versus the Hero 7. Any thoughts, questions? Bill, what are you flying in there? Spark 2? Oh, get that Spark 2 off the screen. You're under NDA.
Excuse me while I have a flashback.
Just like the good old days.
Yeah, I was like, oh, what? Good old days. That was last week. What
Okay, Bill Thompson, who is the Osmo Action for? Who's this camera, designed for?
Actually, I think of like the new generation of all these adrenaline interested people who get like the mountain bikers and the zip liners and that type of thing.
Good.
And actually, since you can go underwater with it, that was the other thing. We're hearing maybe as deep as 50 meters. So yeah. Waterproof, you don't need a special case, any of that stuff. And the manual focus will work underwater, above water, whatever.
Are either you guys divers? Do we have any divers in the chat room? What is a good diving death? What's the normal death that a diver does?
I have no idea either. I had heard that as much as. You have to forgive me. I've been trying to get rid of this wart for 3 years now, and I forgot to put my gel on it today.
You do what you gotta do. But Bill, the drone reviewer, he's in Florida. He probably dies, right? Right, Bill? Bill could dive right in that lake right behind his house. Marcus, when you were flying the Spark at your brother's house, it kind of reminded me of Bill H's lake.
I had that same thought, except for what I didn't see in Arizona is I didn't see any gators.
Oh, no gators? They have lizards.
I'm willing to bet. My parents lived in Tampa. Well, my older brother was actually born in Tampa, and my dad told me long ago that anywhere that there's water in Florida, there's a gator.
You probably have lizards. You probably maybe saw some lizards in Arizona.
Plenty of lizards in Arizona. Yeah, no doubt about it. Yeah,
small alligators.
It was so it was kind of interesting the weekend there. The temperatures were in the 80s, which was usually this time of the year it's much hotter there. So we had a really good weekend. We went to a Arizona Diamondbacks game. They were playing the Braves, and they have an enclosed stadium, and they were able to open the roof on the stadium, which typically they can't do in a day game because it's so hot.
Right. Wow. You should tell me you were going. You could have scouted some of my fantasy baseball players that I have on the Diamondbacks.
Oh, do you? You have some of their guys?
I'm in so many leagues. I got them some place or another.
Yeah.
Anybody have any other topics they want to bring up tonight, Marcus or Bill? Uh-oh.
There we go.
Tiny hawk.
The tiny hawk.
That thing flies smooth.
Oh, yes. Smooth as silk, man.
Marcus, you have any of those little tiny drones?
I don't. Although, I'm bringing up Kolsky again. He just did a review of the Tello. He bought a refurb Tello, and man, he just was gushing over it. He loved it. And it made me think, well, I've seen you guys fly them enough that might be an interesting little thing. When it's windy outside, inside the house, you could fly it around a little bit just for fun.
ZinoNation?
Well, the other thing he said is that, he said, and Bill, I'd like to hear your opinion of this. Kolsky said that it was easier to fly with the phone than it was with the controller.
No.
No. Okay.
Well,
they've got it. They've got it dialed in, firmware and all now, to where it flies really good with the phone. But no, it doesn't smile. But the whole point is if you're planning on using a controller, you need the Wi-Fi repeater. So that's what makes it fly better. But I fly with my phone a lot too, just like you're saying. It's convenient. It's stable enough to where you can send it up 40 feet, take a couple of quick pictures, jump back in the car and take off. I mean, they're going to be not super fantastic because it's like 5 megapixels, but, you might get some decent shots. And it's cool to play with. Like, I'll dive bomb the dogs and stuff like
that. Yeah. Hey, so Ron, I can talk a little bit more about the Fimi if you want.
Yeah, I'll give us an update on the X8, Marcus.
So the X8, last time I took it out, I had a successful flight with it, and I put a video out about that. So a couple of takeaways from that is it impressed me, and I think that thing is an up-and-comer. I had a bad experience with that prop. So, but the flight, the one thing that really impressed me, that is a sporty drone, man. It is fast. Without even putting it in sport mode, I was getting it up to 38, almost 40 miles an hour. So I don't know what it will do in sport mode. It's really quick, and it handles really good. Made me nervous with those props. But the other thing is that the only negative that I could come up with this time was that it had a little bit of a tilt to the horizon. So I noticed that when you were yawing it, it would tilt the camera that direction. And if you left it still for a while, it would eventually stabilize the horizon. But that's something they need to look at. The other thing that I wanted to talk about was their reaction, my interaction with Fimi. So I had a number of emails back and forth, and Chris, the QC guy, got this ball rolling for me, and I appreciate it. He got that, gosh, I can't think of the guy's name. Wee Sai is his name. That's a big shot with Fimi, and then he got one of his QC customer service people in touch with me, and so I told them, I said, listen, all I really need is some props because a prop came apart. But I said, if, as probably a gesture of goodwill, I said, hey, how about you send me another battery, for time and trouble. And now they would
test.
Yeah, now they wouldn't do that. So they're going to send me another set of props, which is fine. And that, all I care about is that they improve their quality control so nobody else faces the same thing, because it's dangerous, and B, I was lucky. It could probably, by all rights, should have destroyed the drone. But anyway.
Hey, Marcus, I watched your video where you flew the Fimi for the second time. You remarked about how much power it had. Would you compare it to the Mavic Pro?
Boy, it's all of that. Might be even more. So to your point, I want to check.
It's got more horsepower than the Mavic Pro.
I'm sorry. I saw what Brian posted in the chat, and I got a chuckle.
Hey,
tell us,
Marcus.
Me hung low.
Go ahead, Bill.
That's what he said. Me hung low.
Oh, the guy hit Fimi.
Me hung low. I was like, what? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Mike's in the chat too. Sorry, I'm kind of hoarse right now.
It's faster than the Mavic. It's comparable to the Mavic Pro. And
I want to try them side by side and see, Ron. I'm not sure. It's freaking fast. I'm telling you that. So I need to. I'm gonna. That's a good idea for a test.
Is it? How about? Is it fast as your Corvette?
Well, we're not going to go that far.
Okay.
Oh, one other thing we need to plug this week. Spin Up 2019, October 19th in Texas. Save your pennies, nickels, and dimes so that you all can go and hang out with some of the big drone names in the field today. And they'll find out they're just like everybody else and talk to them and hang out with them. And everybody go eat dinner and have a few carbonated beverages.
And please be sure to visit the ZinoNation booth at Spin Up.
Yeah.
Marcus and I will autograph anything for you. We'll autograph. You bring your Zino, we'll autograph it for you.
We'll be giving out free popcorn. Pay no attention to the Ace Hardware bags. So, what time is the event? Is it 9 a.m. Eastern or 9 a.m. Pacific? Because if it's 9 a.m. Pacific, that means we're going to go live on Bill's channel when it goes live actually.
That's a good question. We need to research that.
I believe it is 9 a.m. Eastern time is when the DJI event is.
That's what
so it's going to be okay.
Yeah, so
check it right now. Oh, before I forget, Bill, Birdman 316 Mike said, where were your goggles when you were flying the Tiny Hawk?
As people have heard before, I'm going to have to get me some FXTs. The Emax goggles that come in the ready to fly kit will only zoom in so far. And for a set of old eyes like these, it's not quite far enough. So I was having to squint to the port where I could barely see to fly anyway. So basically what happened was when my grandsons came over to visit grandma on Mother's Day, I let my grandson Luke wear the goggles while I flew outside, and he said it was like riding a roller coaster.
Okay. I'll make a comment on that. I'm going to get the same goggles. So someday Bill and I both have the Viper goggles, and we'll both wear them on air on the same show. Is that a deal, Bill?
Yeah, but are you going to fly a Tiny Hawk like me too?
Well, I'll fly some tiny.
Okay. That's cool. That'll work.
I went to DJI's website. I confirmed it. May 15th, 2019, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can get to the bank. This is no false information. It's right on their website.
6 a.m. for Bill. Sorry, Bill. You're going to have to get up early.
What? Like you're not going to you got to get up at 6:30.
No, 7 is when it starts.
You can watch it in bed.
But yeah, I don't know if I'll actually be able to get up and broadcast. I might like get up and be like, and now we see them approaching the podium. He's starting to speak. Let's be quiet. Let's not wake anyone up. Oh, there it is. The Osmo action. I'll just be, what is it? ASMA or ASAS, AMSA or whatever. I could be like,
hey, Bill, you remember the Apple events from the 2000s? What if they did a thing where they brought the camera out, they oohed and ahed and everybody, and then the guy pulled like a Steve Jobs and he said, and one more thing. And he goes behind the curtain and he pulls that Spark 2 out on you.
Or even better, man, he goes, well, you all know we've got this action cam. And then the Spark 2 flies it out and drops it.
That would be the best.
And then it just kind of flies
like Jaws
screen. And then he's like, and we're announcing the Osmo action. And you see everybody going, but what about the drone?
And one time Steve did that, but he did we got one more thing. He did double one more thing. If that DJI does it, maybe he'll go grab that Phantom 5 from behind the curtain.
I'll be honest with you. I think that it's going to be the Enterprise. It's going to be a Phantom Enterprise instead of and I think we're
the Starship Enterprise.
Huh?
The Starship Enterprise?
Yes, we're gonna get a DJI Enterprise.
Dude,
the real Enterprise.
I'll sell my house to buy that.
I would too. My wife wouldn't be married to me anymore, but I would sell my house to buy the Enterprise. Okay, wait a minute. It depends. Never mind. We're on a whole different course now. I got to stop.
We're going down a slippery slope there for a minute, but we got.
I can go pull out the Star Trek Enterprise drone, and then we could go on by technicality. But
hey, along those same lines, what my prediction was before we found out about this action camera. My prediction is that they were coming out with a flying sub, just like on Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea.
Yeah, that would be cool.
I hope you're right about that.
Yeah.
I
That's what I
Black
wanted.
sub kind of from Aquaman.
right. Hey, how about this, Marcus? What if that Osmo action attaches to the submarine, and that's the camera for the sub?
Well, as long as it's a flying sub and as long as I can ride it.
Now, how much would you charge for a flying submarine?
There again, I'd probably sell my house to buy that one.
Could you imagine you flying out from the top of the Snake Canyon down to the river, and then back up again? You going underwater and then coming back up again?
Yeah, that would be some stunning stuff.
I had another epiphany this morning too.
Ooh.
We were all making jokes and laughing about it and everything, and we were talking about wouldn't it be cool if they would actually take like the Osmo action and stick it into a drone? What if that's that mock-up we saw of the original Mavic More?
Well,
And that's why they called it Mavic More.
Well, Bill, as long as they're copying GoPro, they might as well copy GoPro's drone, right?
Well, I think it's going to be kind of like that, but it's going to be more like what we were thinking. Like it's going to be the Pocket Pro will fit into it with the big 1-inch sensor, but that's going to be. But it's only going to be like it's going to be. They're going to play more to the cinematic crowd, like kind of like we were talking before the show about how Osmo Pocket is going to be. That's why they've got the action camera. The action camera is set up for your quick movements and stuff like that. Osmo Pocket is going to kind of go the other way, and it's going to be your handheld filmmaking studio on a budget. So that's what's going to end. You're going to see them kind of split apart now. And we're going to have more cinematic and more filters and more stuff that we can apply to the Osmo Pocket. And then the Osmo Action is going to have more software to handle faster video, better slow speeds. Something tells me that I bet you that 8X is not the maximum for that. You watch here in a couple, they're gonna say. They're going to talk about it on Wednesday. They're going to say, and then here in the near future, we're going to have 16X lossless slow-mo, and everybody's going to be like, ugh, and then so there's more to drop than what we already know. Like Ron's saying, I think there's going to be some Steve Jobs, your jaw hits the floor kind of thing.
Marcus, here's something I think that they could really improve with the DJI Osmo Sport. Bill doesn't have a Hero 7, but it has a crazy microphone setup. If you want to go beyond using the built-in mic and the camera, you have to get like a third-party like adapter thing that costs what? Am I misquoting? Almost $50 before you can plug in like a Rode video mic to it.
It's the DJI adapter, and yeah, it was $40.
I mean the GoPro, the GoPro.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, for the GoPro. Excuse me. I think we're talking about.
So, for you to plug in a external mic to a Hero 7, you have to buy a very expensive adapter for only GoPro makes.
That's the weak point of all of those cameras, in my opinion, and that's why I often use my Canon M50 when I'm making videos, because I can put a microphone on there with a dead cat deadener for when there's wind.
So if the Osmo actually could figure out how to let you plug a Rode video mic into it without using an adapter and still keep the thing waterproof. The reason the Hero 7 has this whole crazy adapter thing is because it makes it waterproof without it. But again, if DJI can figure out how to do this, keep it entirely waterproof without making you use that adapter for a mic, that will be a lot more important than the manual lens.
That would be phenomenal, in my opinion. I totally agree with you. That's always the frustration, and I'd kind of like to hear from some people in the chat too. I mean, I think ultimately, sometimes you just almost have to use an external digital sound recorder. So that you can get decent sound. What I end up often doing is using my iPhone, because it's just got a phenomenal microphone in it, but it also picks up wind noise, and that's where the Rode style microphone
Right, but that
really helps.
That's the beauty about the iPhone. Though. You just plug, you get that little adapter that comes with the iPhone headphones. You plug the Rode in, and then you have the dead cat in the top. And so when I'm recording sound, the iPhone's much simpler to do it than using the Hero 7. Now, don't get me wrong. If it's no wind, the Hero 7 mic to me is better than anybody claims it is. And not windy situation, Hero 7 mic's terrific. And you can put the wind noise on. It does an okay job in the wind with a lot of wind, but in most situations, the Hero 7 built-in mic is much better than people talk about it being.
Hey, so you just said something there, Ron, that I picked up on. So there is a setting within the Hero 7 to help with wind noise.
Yes, you go in and you can select a wind setting in the settings, and it does help. And then there's even another wind setting in there, and I've forgot how they find it, but there's an easy one where you go to, like it says, microsound, and you can switch it to wind.
I have not seen that before.
Yeah.
That's good to know. Thank you.
I'll try.
That's a brilliant idea, Brian. I love that.
What's Brian saying, Bill?
Brian Singleton just puts his iPhone in his pocket and records the audio while he's doing a review.
Yeah, Brian has a video where he shows you how he matches up the audio that he records. He has an iPhone. He just uses like the sound recorder in the iPhone. Then he uses iMovie in the iPhone. He shows how he has a video where he shows how he matches the sound up. Brian does almost all his video production on his iPhone. It's an amazing setup. Really, you really need to see this video. I'll try to find it and link it in the show notes.
So I like that idea, but the thing is, when I'm often using my iPhone to fly my drone, right? So you can't plug another microphone into it when you're doing that.
Well, that's true. I don't know if Brian has two iPhones or not. That's a good.
I got the ultimate question for both of you all.
The ultimate.
I'm ready to hit both of you because I've already heard your answers.
Okay.
But you're already a little biased because you already own the product. But here's the thing. Okay, you got two exactly the same cameras from well-known companies that you both love and support. You don't own either product. But the difference between the two is one has a manual focus and potential for, we all know about firmware updates, as to the old standby product that you might get one or two firmware updates a year. Which one are you going to buy if they're both the same price?
Marcus, you want to go first?
Well, that's probably easy for me because manual focus is just not just like what Ron was talking about earlier. I just don't think I would use it that much. It depends on what the updates do, right, Bill? So that's kind of a tough one. But yeah, I'd probably stick with the old standby that I knew. I think.
That's what I'm trying to say. If you walk into the store and you're seeing GoPro in a box here and DJI Osmo Action here, I already know which box you're going to walk out the door with, regardless if you try to tell me now, oh, I'll go with the old standby. You know you're going to get 10 million more hits off of that Osmo Action than you are off of that the GoPro 7.
Oh, that could be, I suppose.
On it. Yeah. Plus, if you do a whole feature session on it, you do firmware updates, as opposed to GoPro, which you can do a couple of your updates on it. You can say 6 months down the road, and that's about it, other than actually using it to record stuff with. But the DJI, because it's a DJI product, and there's so much craziness over all their products, the door's wide open for what all videos you can make. Like none of us have made near the videos we could make with Osmo Pocket. We could do tons more.
Well, that's a good point, Bill. If I didn't own any action camera right now, and they were both, we'll say they were both $399, and they had, all the same specs except for the the manual focus ring. I guess it would be a tough call. I mean, I would watch a million reviews to see which one had the better video quality.
I think the field of view is bigger on the Action.
Okay. The field of view is more than enough on the Hero 7. So I don't know. Again, I don't know if that would be a killer feature. In fact, the field of view may be a little bit too big on the Hero 7 as it is now, but you could put it into a linear mode where you get it down a little bit.
Well, I'm just saying the whole point is I understand what you all are saying. Yes, I know it's a great product. You've stood by it by years, but we're talking about exactly the same price products that have the exact same features, except one has a couple more, and it's from a brand that has been top of the line for years in their field, and they don't play.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
And I'm totally agreeing with you. I may get the DJI product instead. I'm totally on board with what you're saying.
Well, what my solution would be.
Buy a button on both.
I'd buy them both. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Bill, here's something you haven't talked about. Okay, the Osmo Sport will arrive Wednesday, and it'll be in the middle of GoPro's cycle. So when GoPro puts their, I think their cycle is the fall. So obviously, if we knew this is coming, they knew it was coming. So they're already like working something better. So what if GoPro releases something that trumps them in only 4 or 5 months from now? What if they come out with something that
I have already talked about this. I said updates.
Before you this is what I call good for consumers.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it does. So but I think it's just going to be a firmware update. I think the whole point is they're how DJI is. They never put out a product is wide open. They never do it. Mm-hmm. They're going to make you wait a couple of years before you get full access to what that product can do. Because you're always going to be, and the whole point is that at the very end, when they tell you, okay, this is this is the last one, we're no longer supporting it, it's because you've been given everything that bird was initially meant to do. Everything they planned, because I'm sure they plot out the life, what they want each drone to do, what they're expecting it to do, and how they advance along those lines for a life of a drone, just like any product. And then they're going to move on to a next tier. And then the whole time they're going to listen to their consumers on what they want and what should be improved upon as to their next level.
True Drone Review says I have 8 iPhones. Question. And Parks and Tech says he's excited about the Osmo Action, but he's also excited for the SJ9 Strike coming in June. SJ9 makes a lot of cool GoPro style knockoff cameras. I mean, very well priced and very competitive. So.
Okay, I can read this right off. Okay, it's saying this is directly off of the Drone DJI website. 4K at 30 frames, increased bit rate. Okay, I'd forgotten to mention that. Oh, whoa, I could forgot about that too. Improved 3-axis gimbal, Active Track 2.0, a 2x digital zoom. Increased flight time, 18 minutes instead of 16. New battery design. They won't be compatible with the old batteries. The same range, but with a new design antenna and a new controller. It's going to have a better connection. Oh, and they're going to come in a black spark and a white spark, and they're all going to have a new panorama mode.
Oh, nice. That 2x digital zoom, that's nice.
Yeah, very interesting. Yeah. And at 4x 30, 2x digital zoom is going to give you a good 1080 view. So
yeah, nice. Back to the cameras for just a second. I was telling Ken Downer this morning. I said, the action camera market is a very mature market. So it's interesting that DJI is entering at this time because again, a couple years ago you could make a big splash. But again, I feel that the market's so mature now, there's not a whole lot to bring to the table. Just like if you were a smartphone maker now. If you were a company that didn't necessarily make smartphones and you introduced one now, said the market out there is so mature for smartphones, I mean, how big of a splash can you really make as far as leaps forward in technology? Marcus, you have something to say.
Yeah, that's a good point because you just brought up those SJ cams, and there's another one called the Get To, and then there's I saw an ad the other day for a Nikon action cam. So it really is a crowded field that they're getting into.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of interesting.
It's mature. It's not like it's a lot of room for improvement.
Yeah, which is what made the Osmo Pocket so phenomenal. is because it definitely differentiated
Exactly.
DJI's product from everybody else's.
It created its own niche.
Yeah. Yeah.
And nobody's copied it yet. I mean, it's only been out, what, 6 months or so, but I'm surprised we haven't seen an Osmo Pocket kind of knockoff yet from anybody else.
Hey, I'm sorry to break in here, but apparently there's some kind of new news coming out that we're no longer going to have bow ties around airports, that no matter what, even if you're not in the flight path, if you're within 5 miles, you cannot fly at any height, period.
Oh, wow.
It's illegal.
Wow.
That'd be crazy.
That's what they're saying. They're saying it just dropped, that it just now came out. I got some messages, some people flying at me on okay, he's posting me. Oh yeah, here it is. It came out. Looks like it came out on Friday. Due to changes in the law mandated in the 2018 Reauthorization Act, all hobbyist or recreational unmanned aircraft operators are required to have authorization. Wait a minute, what's he trying to say? No. We've always had to do that. It's the same old, same old. You can't. He was trying to say that you could actually get a ticket now, so they're just enforcing the law. Finally, is what I'm saying. Saying previously recreational flyers could communicate. Oh, whoa, wait a minute. So it's saying no. New law puts restrictions in place that limit all recreational pilots less than 400 feet in uncontrolled. Approval for operation in controlled airspace. Said communicate with the tower with intent to fly was vague and did not allow for required or intervention or approval. Oh, okay. So basically, you got to call the tower, and the tower can tell you no now.
Okay.
That 5 mile thing is just ridiculous on its face, because when have you ever seen an aircraft 5 miles from an airport below 400 feet? That's what's nuts to me. It should be a graduated scale, and even within a mile of an airport, if you don't have your drone up above 100 feet, wow, I don't see that as being a problem. When do you ever see an aircraft at those kind of heights?
It used to be that we got geofenced at 200 feet no matter what.
Right.
And I don't understand what the problem with that is, unless this is slowly working us out of the air, period.
Yeah. To your point, Bill, I was hoping that when the final rules came down, that they would be more common sense, that they'd be the other way, that would allow you to be able to be with the other one that drives me nuts is 5 miles of a heliport. Every hospital has a heliport. I'm about 4 miles from a hospital. I have never seen a helicopter above my house below 400 feet ever.
Oh, wow. So here's what's going on, like what you were talking about in Arizona. Basically what it's saying is recreational UAS operators will be authorized to fly in controlled airspace at fixed sites that will be listed via multiple venues from Federal Register Notice, Advisory Circular, and FAA Office of Communications. So they're going to start making drone parks, is what this basically reads, is what I'm getting. Is they're not going to kick us out of the sky, but they're going to try to pigeonhole us in one little box.
Man, yeah, and
Box us in.
So I guess so it's going to be like the dog park. We get to the land that nobody wants.
Right.
the fun of the hobby, right, is being able to get some aerial videography of the landscapes, and often that might be your house and your city. And it might be, the river or whatever, or the lake. And if they stop us doing that, it really would be the end of our hobby.
Well, it's basically the last paragraph says that they're not going to authorize or approve any recreational flights, period. It says that it's up to them to do it. And then it says air traffic facilities should not authorize or approve any recreational flight. Okay, so.
Well, that'd be a problem. That would probably put a lot of people out of the hobby.
Programming to Bill, the drone reviewer, said good night. He had to go, but we'll see him tomorrow night
Okay,
on Road Talk Live.
that's just crazy. So they won't authorize any flights. Says they're planning to make a white list of approved flying locations. But yeah, that's the first. This is what they're planning on doing.
Wow.
So
we got breaking news right here, people.
Put us into they think that they're gonna keep us from getting upset. They think they're gonna maintain this business by putting us all in, like 500 of us all in one little, acre square lot.
Well, remember, Bill, they don't want you flying in front of your house because that may get in the way of the Domino's delivery drone or the Amazon delivery drone, so you can't be flying in your backyard or front yard anymore.
Well, I tell you what, unless they want to pay to have my roof inspected every time I feel like looking at it, I dare them to tell me I can't. Because I guarantee you I'll take them to court, and that's what I'll say. I'm inspecting my roof. Are you going to pay to inspect my roof? Better yet, if I can't fly up there to look at my roof and it gets damaged, are you going to buy me a new one? Because I'm pretty sure I'm going to figure out how to sue you for it. Because that's what I do. 90%. Here's the deal. When I check, most of the times when I take off in my backyard, first thing I do, I'll check my roof. And I got this humongous pine tree right over the back third of my house that looks like the middle part of that tree is dead. So I fly up there from time to time to see what kind of shape that tree's in, because I worry about the safety of myself and my neighbors.
So it's all about the safety.
Well, that's the whole point is I might get some good pictures while I'm up there, but I can show anybody, that I checked my roof and that I checked that tree. That tree has been in tons of my videos. You can see the dead portion of the tree.
Yeah, everybody knows that.
A million times if you see me rise up, I'm always checking that tree.
I've seen it many times.
So, hey, I just thought of something though for those demolition or for the those drone parks. A new sport: demolition drones.
Well, everybody's talked about that. We got plenty of friends that they've even had some drone duels where they would like fly them into each other until they couldn't fly anymore. So it was pretty cool. So, but yeah, we had some friends do stuff like that. But yeah, that apparently as of this Friday, you can no longer do that.
Wow. Well,
yeah, that used to be that you were automatically geoed below 200 feet, but so now, unless, I remember I had said this a couple of weeks ago, they want us all to be registered 107 pilots.
Right.
A recreational pilot cannot get approval, but a 107 pilot can use LAANC to get clearance for a recreational flight.
Interesting. Unless you're flying a DJI drone, do you think they'll update that database and they won't even fly in those areas?
Yeah, it'll be a no-fly zone.
Yeah, we've got a heliport that's not far from me. That's basically the guy's pasture behind his house, and he's got it registered as a heliport. There's a 5-mile ring around the guy's house.
You're gonna get screwed.
Yeah.
It's saying even the little rinky-dink places, even the little cattle play farms and stuff that have an airport, so-called airport or heliport, you're gonna get knocked down for them too.
Yeah, that there's never anybody there. Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's what they're saying. You're gonna get pinned down because of that.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen this Friday. So if we get a big firmware update Friday morning or Saturday afternoon, we know I'm not gonna update.
ZinoNation, brother. ZinoNation. Fly your Zino. So you better order one right now.
I want to order one. I was actually thinking about getting like an original Parrot Bebop.
Oh, yeah.
Like $100, man.
I think Brian really likes the bebops.
And you can get great pictures. It's got stabilized video.
Yeah.
And then there's nothing locking it down.
It has no flies.
Yeah, nothing locking it down. Got GPS on it. Just sturdy bird.
Well, listen, we're almost going an hour and a half here. Marcus has probably been up since the crack of dawn, or probably before dawn.
3:30 a.m.
We're going to wind things down. So, Bill, Tom, did you have any final thoughts for the evening after that big announcement of the new no-fly rules?
Well, I don't know. I hope it's not true. But he showed me the FAA memorandum. So and the fact that they're gonna, but this is something weird because I was talking to my wife about it, and I was looking on our local community stuff about flying in parks in my particular area in Washington State, and it actually listed that there were specific areas in 1 or 2 parks that drones can fly in. I don't know for sure where they're at in the county I live in, but I need to call and find out because the statement itself implies that there's somewhere you can fly a drone. So I guess we'll have to see where they allow us to fly. And once they do that, I already know a place somewhere near Virginia that we could set up our drone utopia for this flying place. And it happens to be on Indian land. So that might help us.
Oh, there you go.
That's
where we'll all be flying. You just nailed it. That's where we're all going to be going. We'll be going to Indian reservations to fly.
Well, I'm just saying, this
like
particular place, I know of a place that has property that suits our needs. And when we're off camera, I'll talk to you all more about it. So.
No, what's the Indian reservation over by Tacoma that they sell all the fireworks? And every year, the fireworks are illegal everywhere else, but when they're on that Indian land, you can fire them off. So you literally go to the fireworks stand and buy them, and then you have to shoot them off right there.
I can buy fireworks pretty much everywhere because where I live at is like pretty much like right on the fringe of like 4 or 5 different reservations. Yeah. So I drive like 5 miles and I'm on an Indian reservation.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I go this way. And if you've ever heard of Tulalip Casino and stuff, it's like where I think it was last summer, maybe Diamond Rio, Ken Heron's sidekick and him, he was playing up there. But yeah, it's like 20 miles up the road. Seattle's like 22 miles that way. So, but there's tons of reservations, tons of fireworks all the time, everywhere here. So, and they don't tend to listen. There's so many crazy people that and it's easily accessed fireworks. So on the 4th of July, that's basically boom, 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 boom. And everybody runs and hides for 20 minutes, waits for the cop car to drive by. Boom, 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 boom. But I got to fly my drone a little bit last year while they were shooting them off. So I got a few pictures of that.
Nice. Marcus, you have any final thoughts for the evening?
Hey, I just thought of something that I've been meaning to say on the air for a while, and that kind of applies to all of us that watch these, and that when we're watching somebody like Bill the Drone Reviewer or Kolsky Drones or a lot of the channels of our friends that are monetized, when you're looking at their videos, go ahead and play when there's an advertisement before it. Let it play all the way through. I'm not saying you have to look at it. I'm saying just let the ad play because that helps those guys in their monetization of their channel. And every once in a while, even if you click through on one of those videos, not saying buy anything, just click through, that helps them monetize their channels. And, it's just a simple thing to do. And if it's helping people like Bill or Kolsky Drones or True Drone Reviews or these friends of ours, yeah, we need to do that.
Or people like me who don't have 1,000 subscribers, we could set this thing up and say we'd like to get Bill 1,000 subscribers by his birthday. So that
that'd be cool. If I could double subscribe, I would, Bill.
Oh no, I'm making a joke. But yeah, I try. Sometimes I actually watch them because every now and again they actually hit on what I'm interested in. So I don't actually buy them, but I'll watch them.
Right.
So.
Well, that's a good thought, Marcus. Thanks for mentioning that tonight. Okay, I just want to thank everybody that joined us in the chat room tonight. You've been a great audience again. A lot of great comments and questions out there. And I want to thank Bill Thomas being our special guest tonight. Bill was kind of the one that kind of inspired the show. He said to me I should start my own show, and he would help me get up. So said Bill Thomas is sort of the creative genius behind his show. So I want to thank you for that. And, Marcus Crawford, who's done such a great job on the Zino reviews, and now the X8 and the Fimi and many other drones. Was the perfect partner, to do this show. I'm so grateful to have you aboard as well. And I just want to leave you. We already discussed the programming notes. Bill the Drone Reviewers at Rotor Talks 8 tomorrow night Eastern Standard Time. Bill Thomas may be going live during the event Wednesday morning at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Marcus and I will be on for about a half hour already afterwards, say about 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. And we're going to do that on the ZinoNation network. Bill Thomas will be on Coast to Coast Drones that morning. Then the four of us will reconvene on Bill the Drone Reviewers show network at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then at least Bill Thomas and I will join us again at 8.
Let's just go ahead and roll all four of us into that night if they want to.
All four of us are welcome to join Drone Therapy at 8:30 p.m. Wednesday night on the drone. Is that on Coast to Coast Drones?
Yeah. I'm not going to move it over yet till we get all the
drones. So that's all my programming notes. And I'm going to leave you one little tidbit. If you see the recent video, I have a new product here that I had some issues with. I couldn't connect to any networks, but I have an update. And this is a teaser now. I've made some progress, and I'm going to have an update video on that soon. So
third party browser and stuff.
Stay tuned.
Third party browser and stuff.
Say no more. So on that note, good night, everyone, and join us next week. We're going to have another great show, and we're going to have an announcement pretty soon. Probably we have a Facebook page, ZinoNation. Everybody come over. It's on Facebook. I know some people don't believe in Facebook, but if you do, come over and join the ZinoNation group. Marcus and I are in discussions to get Sean Matthews on ZinoNation, and we will do a special show, like an afternoon show, because of his time in Spain is way ahead. So stay tuned for that exciting announcement of an afternoon ZinoNation with Sean Matthews and maybe even some other of our European friends. So on that note, good night, everybody, and good luck.